Alright, let's do it. Alright, God mode. Multi-team mode. Alright, let's start this thing. First team, Atlanta. Ooh. Demetrius Kuntz. It's an absolute beast of a young player. Good athletics. Not great shooting, but he's still young. Overall, not a bad team for Atlanta. Couple good prospects. Alright, next team, Baltimore. Okay. Got something to work with. You got a couple couple good guys in the prime, I guess. Not really any crazy prospects, but not in a bad spot overall. Next team is me. Oh god, I can't wait for the rig comments. Okay, I didn't rig. Cool. Um, we're not great. This guy's alright, but he's 23. Pinkston's not bad. Ooh, we got a bunny rabbit. Um, solid. I can work with that. Yeah, if your name Kuntz here, just guaranteed GOAT. Next team, Chicago. First 70 plus. A Ken Lombard. He's a really good mid-range shooter, decent three-point shooter, dribbler and passer, relatively athletic. IQs aren't great, but he still should be a really good player, especially at 72 overall. Chicago is actually in a really good spot. They got this guy Parker. He's not great athletically or shooting, but he has pretty good skills. And then they got this guy too. He's pretty athletic. Can't shoot, but he can dunk the ball. All right, next team, Cincinnati. Matt Allen, really good athletics across the board. Again, not really great shooter, but he's got the IQs. He can still be a decent player. Draymond Green's other little known cousin, Raymond Green, who's better in every way, and nothing else really notable. Our highest overall so far, 270s for Cleveland. That's rigged for the mods, I know. We got Andre Bell, who is an absolute stud, actually. Jesus. 93 dribbling, 87 passing, 80 plus, 2 point and 3 point, and they got a 71 overall. Yeah, it's rigged for Cleveland. Sorry, guys. Besides that, bench isn't really there, but this team could be really good this year. Depends on if Cleveland makes the right moves. All right, next team, Dallas. Another 70. Patrick Garrity. He's pretty above average athletically. He's a good shooter. IQs and skills aren't great, but he still should be pretty good defensively. 3-and-D kind of guy. Besides that, they have Darnell Johnson, who's tall center that isn't athletic. Pretty standard build. They also have Dwight Singler down here. He's young. He's a project, but he's had some work to do, but not bad overall. And then let's see, next team, Denver. All right, Denver. They've got Corey Devaney, he's pretty strong. He's good, pretty good center, defensively. He's not great offensively, but he can get some buckets in the paint. Um, got Denzel Heard, pretty good dribbler and passer. Not great shooting, but he can play. He make plays for the team. Solid athletically. Let's see, Roy Jones. He's all right. He's a good 3-and-D kind of guy. All right, Detroit, who still doesn't have a GM, by the way. So Michael Dillard could be yours. Michael Dillard. He's honestly nothing great, especially for 67 overall, but it's not bad. Let's see. Nothing else really stands out. Next team, Houston. Ooh, wow. That is actually insane. 20 overall, 20-year-old, 62 overall, decent height, good athletics. Not great shooting, but he's still 20. Decent dribbling, passing, rebounding. IQs could be better, but again, still young. This guy could be a superstar in 2-3 years. And pair with that, they got Jeremiah Little, who's honestly not great across the board, but he's alright. Good dribbler as a center for some reason. Let's take a look. Chris Phillip. He's good athletically. How old is he? He's 24, so might still be a good, decent bench player. And nobody else really noteworthy. Oh, Vegas. Those are two really good players to start off your team with. Gary Sims, who is phenomenal offensively. IQs aren't great, but they're up there. Dribbling and passing, high up there. This guy's he's probably the best player I've seen so far. Even though he's really short, but still really good. Jim Magloire, he's 22, 68 overall. He's not great athletically, but he's already a good shooter and decent IQs. So he'll probably be another guy to look out for in a couple years. Next team, Los Angeles. Alright. Jay Hickman, he's good offensively, especially with the IQs. Besides that, not really anything fancy. Let's take a look. Dino Guay, I think I said that right, I'm not sure. He likes to shoot mid-ranges. Keep this guy away from my team, please. You guys are saying. Yeah. Alright, next team, Mexico City. Not great, but they're young. They have a good couple young pieces. So this team they're not great right now. They're probably going to be out of the playoffs this year, but they could be solid. Oki Moore. Again, pretty much a stereotypical center build. Good height, rebounding, okay strength. Decent OIQ. So he could be solid. He's only 22. Let's take a look. I'm not going to try to say that. Solid athletics. Yeah, he's still 43 overall at 20, so might turn into something good. Might not. Who's next? Miami. Miami next. Gerald Hamilton. Really good athletically. He's short, though. Takes mid-ranges, but he's also decent hitting threes. Dribbler and passer. It's kind of like an Isaiah Thomas type build, except he can dunk. Dave Smith, most stereotypical name. He can dunk. He can shoot mid-ranges. Decent athletically. Probably a good defensive guy. Still, 21, so he might turn into something decent. Probably not superstar potential, though. Next team, Minneapolis. Terry Ferry. It's a great name. Pretty bad, probably defensively and athletically, but to make up for that, he's good at pretty much everything else. He's a great shooter. Really good IQs. Passing, dribbling, playmaker. Another short star, but he's still phenomenal. He'll probably end up leading the league in assists, honestly, because unless the team around him is horrible, because that's just a really good combination of OIQ, passing, dribbling. That's actually a pretty good team for Montreal. They've got Dan Shaw, who's honestly pretty good. He's not great offensively, but everything else that he does makes up for that. Strength isn't really there, but besides that, he's good IQs, dribbling, passing, decent rebounding, speed, jumping. And then, is there anything else really noteworthy here? Not really. Mike Dandridge. He's solid. He's not great. He'll be probably peak of sixth man, I guess. Next team, New York. Alright, Chris Sadler. He's alright athletically, but besides that, not really anything noteworthy. But he's 22, so you never know. He still could be a decent little star, I guess. Not really phenomenal, but Still could get it done. AJ Sedgeberg. He's tall. He can hit layups. Can't do anything else. Next team, Philly. Okay. They have stuff to work with. They have Oliver Cephalosha. He's pretty good athletically. Really good IQs. Decent shooting. He's actually not a bad star. Build your team around. They just need some more pieces, especially because their bench is lacking severely. They do have a couple of good young guys though. Steve Madden, Roy Travis, Jerome Haygood, who's pretty good athletically. Really short, but his athletic might make up for that on the defensive end. IQs and stuff are decent. He's only 23, so he could be a solid starter. Next is Phoenix. Okay. It's definitely not one of the best teams, but they're not horrible. We haven't really seen any like dumpster fire teams yet, which is good. Relatively balanced, I think. It could really be anybody this year from what I've seen so far. There aren't any super teams. Cleveland was really good, but besides that, all right. So Grim Plefka, he's good skills, decent inside scoring and dunking. Not really anything else spectacular. John Hunter, he's just tall, I guess. Let's take a look. Anthony Oswald. Let me check some. Mayview is solid. Lamar Alexinas. We'll go with that. He exists. Alright, next team. Pittsburgh. That's one of the worst teams I've seen so far. They honestly don't have a ton to work with. They're not completely terrible. Like, Burrows is actually really good. Pretty good athletics. He's short, but he's got dribbling, passing. Could probably end up trading him if I were them, because he could get them a couple assets. Robert Hood, decent shooter. Overall, like they'll probably end up being one of the bottom teams because they don't really have much young talent to work off of. But you never know. I don't remember their GM off the top of my head. Sorry about that, but they should be not really great, but you never know. Portland. Ooh, that's actually a really good team from what I'm seeing right here. Not really many guards, but I mean, Vernon Grant is one of the better players I've seen so far. Shoots a lot of mid-ranges, but he has decent IQs and stuff. So you'll probably be able to knock him down, not be too inefficient with him. Azeli. Pretty good athletically, especially for a 20-year-old. He's got decent shooting. He could be alright. His IQs are still really low, but again, 20, so could end up being decent. Next team. Sacramento. Ugh. Sorry, bud. Let's take a look. That's actually really good skills-wise for James Howell. He's 27. He's got 60 plus in all of his skills. Okay shooting, decent athletics. It's not bad, especially for 65 overall. That's like more like what I'd expect from like 68. So they could be decent. I don't know why you're getting timed out. Sorry about that. Anyways, sorry if you're getting timed out. 76 overall at Quaven Kyles. He's only 28. So he's expiring next season. He's on the max deal. Pretty good athletics. Decent skills. Not great shooting, but it's good enough to get him by. He's pretty good. He's not phenomenal, but he's not terrible, obviously. That's 75 overall. Besides that, I mean, the bench isn't bad, especially from what we've seen from other teams. Got Will Johnson down here who might turn into something decent. Depends on if he can get his shooting numbers up. Sorry, I'll untime you out real quick. There we go. Sorry about that. Moving on. Sarunas Kuzminkas for Sacramento. They've actually got two really good young guys here. 100 height. I don't I don't think I've ever actually seen that. That's wow. For a 23-year-old, that guy's he's gonna get some boards. Cameron Bell to put with him. Good athletically, good three-point shooting. It's actually a really good young duo for Sacramento or San Francisco. Sorry about that. Besides that, they actually have a lot to work off of. They have a lot of good young guys. All these guys, they could actually be decent, especially in like 2 years' time when people progress, if they progress. Next team, Seattle. Not great. Curtis Evans. He's actually a decent building block. He's 22, so he could still be turning something decent. He's not tall, but has good shooting numbers where you want the shooting numbers. Good dribbling and passing. IQs aren't great, but again, 22. So, I forgot. I didn't notice him first time. Tim Irvin. Looks like he's probably going to be a good defensive anchor. Not great offensively, but he's not terrible. So, you never know. Still 22 like Evans. Ousmane Thiago. It's actually pretty good athletically. Again, really short. It's a lot of really short guys here. He's a big mid-range guy, especially being short. That's not great. Hopefully his IQ makes up for that, so he's not taking too many shots, because otherwise he's going to get really inefficient. Alright, next team. Who's next? Not many left. Seattle. Or next team is St. Louis. Alright, that's solid for St. Louis. So they've got Ryan Wilson and Lorenzo Lininger, who are both 25. Wilson's decent skills, not great shooting, but okay athletics, so he should be solid. Lininger, good athletics, yada yada yada. They should be solid, especially they got a couple good young guys there. Overall, we're seeing a lot of really good young guys across the board, so this should be interesting. Next team, Tampa. We got Aaron Johnson, who's 24. Really good IQs, good rebounder, especially for his height. He should be pretty solid, honestly, in a couple of years' time. Besides that, not really a ton to work off of. You got Brendan Calhoun, who's good athletically, decent passer. Not a great shooter, but he should be alright. Next team, only got 3 left. Toronto. Alright, Aubrey Friday, he's 30, but he's 67 overall. He's a good, kind of Zach Randolph kind of guy. Except he can shoot mid-ranges, I guess. He's good defensive IQ, not great offensive IQ. Decent rebounding. He should be honestly one of the better rebounders, besides the 100 height guy, because, yeah. Jamal Novak, really bad shooting, but he's a good rebounder. He's alright. He's 22, so maybe he can get those shooting numbers up, but if not, defensive anchor, I guess, rebounder. So this team should be good on the boards, but I don't really know about scoring. Michael Gant, he's good athletically. He's not really there offensively like the rest of this team. So they're honestly going to be struggling to score points this year. But they do have a bit of cap space to work with. Sorry about that. Vancouver. So Andre Egan's, he's actually pretty much green across the board. He's not too tall, but he's good offensively and with his skills. He should actually be really good, especially if that contract is really nice. Only under 20 mil to 2023. It's solid, but to make up for it, they have Mike Williams' contract, which is honestly pretty bad. But Judd Fischler, good athletics, decent shooting, skills are alright, so maybe he can turn into something good. As is, he's probably not anything special. Alright, moving on. Final team, Washington. Amal Broussard, 64 overall, good athletics, decent dribbling and passing. Overall, not great, but not terrible. So like Jonathan Baldwin. It's honestly not much there besides his height. And yeah, that'll wrap it up. So let's take a look at the top in the league. So we have 870 overalls. We have a couple really good young guys. All these guys should be pretty good. Let's take a look at the draft, even though this is not the finalized draft, just so you know. This is not the finalized draft. So you have Beeman, who is actually really good at 61 overall. He's going to be 21. So this draft already is looking pretty good before the buff. Next year's draft is looking pretty weak, to be honest. But you never know. And yeah, I think it's going to wrap up the stream, pretty much. Let's take a look at the power rankings. So they have Portland number 1, which makes sense. They have pretty good depth. Let's take a look. Yeah, so you have Los Angeles, Vegas, Cleveland, Chicago, Montreal, Washington, Minneapolis, Phoenix, and then San Diego to wrap up the top 10. At the bottom, you have Miami with a 26 team rating. So only have 450 overalls. But they're young, so they should be able to even if they're not good this year, they have a ton of cap space. So they should be able to work off of that. And alright, I think that's going to wrap up the stream. Thank you guys for coming out. Oh, Ben, Ben, what team are you? And I'll show you Toronto. So here's Toronto. So Aubrey Fridays. You guys aren't going to be great offensively from what I remember. Your shooting was pretty bad across the board. You have a couple good rebounders, but not really any scorers. And then what's the other team? Sacramento. Alright, Sacramento, final team, and then I'll do a couple things and then send out the export. So Sacramento, you have James Howell, and then I remember besides him, who's honestly pretty good, besides him you don't really have a ton to work off of, but you could probably get it done. You have a couple good young guys here. I mean, your team's not terrible right now. If you could add a star to this team, and then clean up the bench a little bit, you might be pretty good. Because honestly, I'd say it's all pretty wide open. Like, this is the best team in the league right now. So if you can even add someone like Vernon Grant, they're probably not going to give him up, but they're not terrible. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. This should be on the YouTube channel somewhere, I've been told. And yes, that'll wrap up the stream. I'm going to send the export in probably 20 minutes-ish, if not even sooner than then. So yeah, that'll finish it up. Thank you.